Hello YouTube lovers, thank you for tuning into You and Me Equals 3 today. In this video I'm sharing with you this delicious potato sweet dish. It is like a potato dumpling with some filling in it. It is filled with some plum jelly, very delicious, and it takes little to no time to make it. So without rambling too much, let's get right into the recipe. So to begin, you need clean hands because we are going to use our hands a lot for this recipe. So in here I have some Yukon Gold potatoes that I have cooked, and I cooked this yesterday. Yukon Gold is best for this recipe because it has like a fluffy texture, it's dry, it doesn't have a lot of moisture in it, and when you can tell by when you cook it, like it bursts, you will cook it with the skin and you see that it gets cracks. It is perfect for mashed potato, it is great for gnocchi, and for this potato pockets that we are going to make. So the recipe is, we're going to make potato pockets with plum jelly filling, okay? And you can, once you have the dough made, you can put whatever filling you want into it. Okay, so this was cooked yesterday and you put it in the fridge because it develops more starch and it makes you get a great consistency. Although you can cook it and then use it the same day, this is the best way, okay? So I have my potato masher here and a clean bowl, and I'm going to start mashing this up. So I have 1 kilogram of potatoes, which is 1,000 grams, and I'm going to be doing this until it is all mashed. And then we continue. Ooh, I need a lot of muscles here because when the potatoes stay overnight, like I said, they develop more starch and it's a little bit hard to press, but we will do it. This recipe, this sweet dish is, to me, one of the best sweet dishes here in Austria. They have a ton, okay? But this is my most favorite. I love it. I can eat it almost every day, and my daughter can eat like 10 of them, okay? 10 of the pockets. Children love it, grown-ups love it. I'm 100% sure you will love it once you try. You'll be making it every day. I'm trying not to make too much of a mess. But it's kind of hard to prevent it. Okay, almost done. The last one. And I make a big batch of this because you can just do half, okay? If you're going to try it for the first time. But like I said, you will love it. I know that 100%. But just try with 500 grams of flour so you don't have a massive batch like I'm going to. And then after you fall in love with it, sorry, I had to wash my hands. And then after you fall in love with it, you can be making kilograms of it. So now I have okay. So my hands are washed again. And we are going to start mixing this. So we are going to make a hole in the middle here, okay? And into this hole, I have 2 eggs. I have some butter, okay? I'm going to dump. The butter has to be at room temperature. It's very soft, as you can see. So you put the butter in here. I have put in the butter here and I just had to wipe my greasy fingers. And then in here, I'm going to add some salt. I will add my 2 eggs. Just, you don't have to whisk it first, just crush it and put it in there. 2 eggs. So if you're making 500 grams, then you will do 1 egg, okay? Bear that in mind. And I have to wash the salt out of my fingers. And now we are going to add some nutmeg. I have 1. Want to do the nutmeg? Okay. Georgia wants to do the nutmeg. Be careful, don't scrape your fingertips. Hold it tight because it will fall in the egg. It happens to me sometimes. I'll tell you when it's enough. Okay, that's good. So Georgie grated the nutmeg, and now we have some flour here. Okay, you can use all-purpose flour, or here in Austria we have different kinds of flour. You know, we have the all-purpose, and then we have one that is called griffig, and this griffig means it has a bit of texture to it. It's not very smooth. And that is the kind that I'm using. I'm using the griffig one, meaning it has a little bit of texture to it. It's not too smooth. Okay, if you don't have that, just use all-purpose flour. It will do the same thing for you. So in here, I have about 300 grams of flour that I'm going to use to bind this whole thing together, okay? But I'm not going to dump it all in at the same time. I'm just going to put it in and use your hands. There is no other way to do this, or you can put it in a mixer if you want, but I prefer using my hands because I get a good feel of the dough. That way you don't add too much flour to it to make your dough all hard like a rock. Okay, and then we add some more. Okay, now we are going to add the rest, just like that. And I'm going to just combine it. And if you are interested, let me know in the comment section. You can make so many things out of just this simple potato dough here. So let me know in the comment section if you are interested in finding out some new recipes that you are not used to, just using this simple potato dough. So yeah, it's coming together nicely. Sometimes when the dough is formed, you will, once you use your hands, you will feel it. You will feel when you need more flour. It's always better to need more flour than vice versa, because if you put too much in, there's nothing you can do about it. So gradually adding is the secret. And I can already feel that I'm going to need a tiny bit more. So I'm going to add a tiny bit more flour. Okay, now it's fine. Plus you will need, okay, I'm going to use my 2 hands now. Plus you will need some flour to surface your, to put on your working surface and stuff. So yeah, this is what you're looking for. Okay, it comes like, it's not like gooey like a bread dough or something. It comes apart easily, but it has texture to it. Okay, and you can make a nice ball. I have dough flying everywhere. You can make a nice ball and it stays. Okay, it stays together. So that is what you're looking for. Good. Let me just clean my hands and then we will start rolling this dough. Yeah. Okay, so our dough is here and I was going to roll it and then I thought, let's make the filling first. Okay, so I just have my rolling mat here and then my rolling pin ready, but we are going to make the filling. And for the filling, I'm using plum jelly. And like I said, you can fill it with whatever that you like. You can put maril, which is apricot jelly. You can put Nutella, that chocolate thing. You can put Topfen, which is cheese. So you can mix some cheese with an egg and then, I mean cream cheese, okay, with some egg and a little bit of butter and sugar, and then you mix it and put it in the pockets. But what I'm doing is what we love best, that is our favorite, and that is filling it with plum. So I'm not going to measure this because I know the quantity that I want for the amount of dough that I have. So I have in here the filling, add a little bit more. And into that, I'm going to add some cinnamon, okay? So cinnamon. And a pinch, just a tiny pinch of salt to bring out all the flavors together. And then we'll give this a stir. I like a lot of cinnamon in this. So we'll give it a stir. Taste it. Need a little more cinnamon. Good. Okay, now I'm going to need a little spoon. So I'm switching, taking the big spoon out. This is so good. Okay, the filling is done. And now get your rolling mat. If you are not using one of this and you're going to do it on your surface, the surface should be clean. And I'm just going to put these here to just fix it, okay, to put it down. And I have this cutter here. It is about 8 centimeters. You can use whatever cutter that you have. If you don't have any cutter, you can even use like a bowl like this, okay? A small bowl, you can use that to cut it. If you don't have that too, you can just roll your dough flat and use a knife, and I mean like a cutlery knife, and just cut circles. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just always work with what you have. That is my motto in life. If you don't have something, that doesn't give you an excuse to, let's say you don't have a cutter. So you say, I cannot do this recipe because I don't have a cutter. That is not an excuse. So I'm going to do this I'm not going to take the whole dough and roll it, of course, because that will be too big to work with. So I took a piece and I'm going to get my tray here that I will be putting the pieces on once I get it cut. But I need a parchment paper. Hold on. So I have this tray that I have the parchment paper on. I have my dough here, a bit that I'm going to roll out. So as far as the thickness of the dough when you roll it, it shouldn't be too thick and it should also not be too thin. You want it to be about 1/2 centimeter thick. After that, when you have it cut, you will also flatten it a bit with your palms, with your fingertips. It shouldn't be too thin, like paper thin, and it should also not be too thick, because when it's too thin, the fillings will come out easily, and when it's too thick, it feels too dense when you eat it. So when you start doing it, you will get a feel of it as you keep doing it. Okay, so do not stress yourself too much when you do the first one and it is not perfect. Just use your cutter starting at the edge. I'll make my first cut and just show you. See, and you even make it flatter when you cut it out. You have to like tap it a bit to widen it some more, and then you take your filling. Okay, hope you can see what I'm doing. You put it in the middle like that, and then you close it. For the closing, it doesn't have to be perfect. I've been doing it for years and I never get it perfect. Who cares? The most important thing, it tastes good. So this is it, okay? This is how it looks like. You put it down. It kind of looks like ravioli. So the dough, the flatness, you just get a feel of it, okay? It's almost like when you make like a pie. It's hard for me to explain it, but okay, we have this in, we close it, and sometimes you might take a little too much filling and you will have some like come out a little bit. It's totally fine. It's not the end of the world. Just seal it, wipe it off, and put it on your tray. Okay, flatten it some more. Put your jelly in the middle. Seal it. And this is what I'm going to spend the rest of my time doing until I have all the dough done. So I'm going to do the last example to show you, and then I will finish the rest off camera. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to bring this closer. So flatten it, you take it out, you flatten it some more. It's quite thin. So this is the thickness, okay? It's quite thin. But it's also not paper thin. We put the filling in, we close it, and we use our fingers to just pinch and close, pinch and close, pinch and close, pinch and close. Sometimes you might have to fold it in a bit when you pinch it and close it. And if you're doing this for the first time, I will say when you form your dough like this, you can do a test cook, okay? You can, for you to see that you have the right amount of flour in it, you can just take a small piece, roll it, or just flatten it with your hand. Put your filling in, have some boiling water on with some salt in it, dump it, throw it in and cook it between 6 to 8 minutes. And then it bounces up on its own, just like when you cook gnocchis. And then you see if it's not combined well, if you have too less of a flour, you will see that it starts falling apart in the boiling water. And the water shouldn't be crazy boiling. It should be like, when we get that far, I will show you, like so bubbling to boiling, okay, in between there. And then you can see whether your dough is perfect, whether you need to add a little more flour to it. But if you follow my recipe, which I'm going to link in the description box, you shouldn't have to do that, okay? It should come out perfect. So, flattening it. I think I showed you, like how to do it by now. So I'm going to do the rest off camera, and I will show you when I have this tray all filled up. Okay. I have here a big pot. I have filled it with some water and some salt there, and that is where we are going to cook potato pockets. Okay, so I showed you the water that is boiling, and in this pan, a frying pan, I have some butter, and this is a lot of butter. This is 120 grams because I made double. So if you make 500 grams of the potato dough, then you are just going to use 60 grams of the butter, okay? And this is going to be for the breading coating that we are going to put on it. So I'm going to turn my burner on to melt this, and using a scale, I'm going to, before I do that, here is the dough that I had taken out. This is how I formed them all. So they all have the plum filling, the plum jelly filling in them, and they're all good to go. And also I want to show you real quick, I make a big batch. So for instance, you can make them, and then the way that you see them here, all formed up with your desired filling in them, you can then put them in your freezer. They're all ready to go. You put some semolina flour on your tray, and then you put them on so they don't stick to it. You lay them on the tray, you wrap it with a plastic wrap, you freeze this, and when you want to cook it, you just pour some water. You don't need to thaw them out. You just throw the frozen potato pockets in your boiling water and you just let it cook a little bit longer. And like I said, they rise up when they are done, just like gnocchi. And so yeah, this is very easy and it's like, I mean, very convenient. You make it, you freeze it, you take it out and cook it whenever you're ready to eat it. Okay, just wanted to show you that. Putting it back in the freezer. So here I have some breadcrumbs that I have measured in here. I'm going to move you to the pan now because the butter is melted, and I'm going to pour in the breadcrumbs like that. Using a wooden spoon, I'm going to stir this, and what we are looking for is a brown colored breadcrumbs. Now it looks pale, so we will keep stirring until, but make sure your heat isn't too high because it will burn then. So you keep stirring this. You don't want to leave this and go attend to your phone or go, I don't know, whatever. You cannot leave this because as soon as you leave, it will burn. It has to be stirred constantly. I'm almost there to getting that brown color that I'm looking for. Another thing I have to say is once you take this off the heat, you cannot stop stirring because the pan is still really hot and the bottom will still be browning. So you have to kind of like stir it until it cools down, or you take it outside. What I normally do is I take it on my balcony and I let it sit there because it's kind of chilly out right now and it will cool it faster for me. Okay, now I have the brown color that I'm looking for. I hope you can see it. This is it. And I'm going to set it aside and keep stirring it a bit. I'll probably go and put it on the balcony. So now we are going to cook our potato pockets with the water boiling back here. I'm just going to throw this in. Okay, so go in there. Okay, now we are going to put the lid on and just leave a tiny space, and this is going to cook from 6 to 8 minutes, but check it at 6 minutes, and once it comes on top it means it's done. I'm going to set my alarm to 8 minutes. but I will check it at 6. Okay, so I just brought the breadcrumbs in here and it has cooled down. I'm going to add to that some brown sugar. I'll just take 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, add it in here. Stir it in, give it a taste. Need 1 more. You want to add the brown sugar when it has cooled down because you don't want the brown sugar to melt. Okay, now this is ready, okay? And our dumplings, ooh, they are looking good. So here, see, they've come to the top. That means it's done. So we are going to take them out, and what we are going to do is I'm going to take it off the heat, okay? They don't need to boil anymore. I have some food in my mouth. And you take it out and you let it drain out a bit because you don't want to just dump a bunch of water in your breadcrumbs, because you just transfer it right into the breadcrumbs, okay? So you take it and you put it in there. So shake it off, put it on this, and then what you would do is you're just going to coat this with the breadcrumbs. So you take the breadcrumbs. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Like that, okay? And then you put it on a clean tray, ready to be eaten. Thank you. Okay, this is also coated. We put it here. And that is what you will keep doing to all of them. Last week I made some and then I took it to work, and a few of my colleagues had some and they were like, wow, Vista, this is so good. So they asked me to send them through WhatsApp the recipe, because one was like, I have tried it several times but I can never get it. Like the dough, I can never get the dough to be right. And I'm like, oh, it's so easy. I'll send it to you then. And I did that. Okay, so repeat the process, just coat it. And it's okay if in case if you are beginning to make it, sometimes you will see that it might burst open because maybe you didn't seal it properly or your water was boiling too hard. It's fine. Just take that piece that is busted out, coat it with some breadcrumbs and eat it right away. Okay, so this is it. Our potato pockets are done. and you can see it looks delicious. And you can sprinkle some powdered sugar on this and serve it. I don't like it too sweet. I like it without the powdered sugar. So I just eat it like this because remember we did put some brown sugar in the breadcrumbs. So this is it. Is incredibly delicious. I hope you try it and let me know in the comment section if you already know this recipe, and if you don't and you do try it, let me know as well. Okay, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. So before you go, grab a pen and a paper and start making your list to buy your ingredients to make this recipe. Do not forget to subscribe to You and Me Equals 3 if you haven't done so already. Give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful, and everything that I mentioned will be listed in the description box below. You will see an arrow, you just click that and the recipe will be linked. You'll be linked to my website where you get the full recipe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Have a blessed day. Bye.